the world and into his own bloodstream to find out how much environmental damage is hurting the Earth and all of us in his four-part series, Planet in Peril. Please welcome host of CNN's AC360, Anderson Cooper.
Anderson is taking kickboxing classes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. You look good.
It's very satisfying to punch someone in the throat with your elbow.
Do you get along with
it actually is.
Do you get along with people who disagree with your politics, even though we don't really know what they are?
I do. You know, that's what I like about my job. You know, a lot of, I know it's very popular in cable news these days, have, you know, wear your opinion on your sleeve, on your lapel, but I just think it's not my job to have, you know, I don't voice my opinions. I think the viewers are smart enough to make up their own minds.
Yeah, there is a trend, though. Everybody likes to hear that barking.
Yeah, and I think in truth, people want, you know, there's so much yelling, people just want facts, they want information. They can make up their own minds. That's what I think my job is.
Well, what was it about this project that got you going? Because, you know, I watch 360, so I see you each and every evening, and I know you do a lot of different kinds of stories, but what was it about the Planet in Peril that made you say, I better do this?
This is really, it's probably the biggest undertaking CNN's embarked on. We traveled to like 13 countries, 4 different continents. We really wanted to focus on stories which aren't necessarily in the daily headlines here, but which are really important. I mean, climate change, deforestation, overpopulation, all these things and how interconnected they are. And, you know, there's a lot of politics surrounding it, a lot of arguments surrounding it, but we just want to look at the facts and not there's no agenda, there's no we're not trying to, you know, we're not advocates for any cause. We're basically just looking at facts and letting viewers make up their own minds.
Yeah, you worked on this documentary with Jeff Corwin, wildlife biologist, and also CNN medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta. And you guys went to Cambodia, you went to Thailand to expose animals being killed and sold for various reasons. And then you also traveled to Yellowstone National Park and you exposed there how the removal of just one species affects our entire ecosystem, right?
Yeah, I mean, we see all these, you know, the rate of extinction of animals right now, they're about, it's about 1,000 times the natural rate of extinction. So there's a massive extinction problem happening. And you hear about species going extinct, and you think, well, why does it really matter? So we went to Yellowstone to look at the reverse, which is what happens when a species is put back into an environment. And they brought gray wolves back into Yellowstone, and it's had this major impact. You know, the elk populations have been cut down. The trees have actually grown more. Beaver populations have grown because there's more trees. Birds have improved. So the introduction of one species has this follow-on effect on a whole ecosystem.
Whenever I see these type of films, though, I like even Al Gore's film, which was brilliant, The Inconvenient Truth. But I never know, what am I supposed to do? I mean, besides vote for people who are pro-environment and who don't vote against, you know, environmental laws, what else can the average person do? It upsets me to see polar bears disappearing.
You know, there's a lot of things people can do. I mean, they can make changes in their own lives, which will contribute. But, you know, a lot of these changes that we're talking about, a lot of the things that scientists say need to be done are huge, massive changes, which are beyond just one individual. And we're talking about
policy.
Yeah, major policy decisions.
Corporations' involvement.
And also, I'm sorry, Sherry, one of the pieces in this has to do with China and how they are, you know, we keep saying why they keep sending us all this lead-based toy paint and stuff. But when you watch the series, you suddenly realize they're doing it to their own people.
China has such huge pollution problems. I mean, they've expanded, they've grown so quickly. 16, I think, of the 20 most polluted cities in the world are all in China. About half the rivers are polluted. They're just not even beginning to come to grips with the level of pollution. It's something they don't like to talk about. Sanjay Gupta was there, you know, almost got arrested by police in places he would show up to a place and would start asking questions, and the police would certainly show up.
Go ahead,
well, I just wanted to say that I know, watching Planet in Peril, you and Jeff were in Cambodia, and you were exploring the extinction of the Asian elephant, and it got a little dangerous. We got a clip to see this.
These animals are playful and powerful.
That was its leg.
Watch what happens to Jeff's left arm.
The numbers.
Now that That's where the kickback scene could come in.
That's right.
Did he get that?
I literally thought the way he was screaming like his arm had been ripped off, but it was fine. It was just twisted really badly. He got a bad bruise from it. But there was a moment where I'm standing there, I'm like, what's going on there? And they're like, oh, wait a minute, that's real.
But these are wild animals. I mean, that's what this is. See, this is what happens when you go with somebody who does this all the time. They walk in, because y'all were walking through the forest, and I kept thinking, you better put something on.
Well, that's what's so funny about Jeff Corwin. He literally enjoys going out in the middle of the night into a jungle and, with nothing but a little lamp on his head and looking for bugs and huge flying cockroaches and bats. And to me, it is the worst. I did like 3 nights with him, and I finally was like, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. It's the worst thing I could possibly imagine.
Let's talk politics for a second. One of the things, I'm sorry we didn't discuss this. Barack Obama no longer will wear one of the flag pins, he said. What do you think about that? Because I've always thought that was fake patriotism. Anyway, just because I have a flag pin doesn't make me patriotic. So he's saying no. What about that?
I think there's so many important issues in the world, and that waste any amount of time, or that our politicians waste any amount of time talking about that, just seems so ridiculous. I mean, there's a war going on with soldiers fighting, and in this political game, they try to get you to focus on these issues which aren't real issues. And it means absolutely nothing.
I don't agree with that. I mean, there are 24 hours in a day, and this is about fake patriotism. I think it's important.
I got to wrap. I got to wrap. I know she said what she wanted to say, but Planet in Peril airs October 23rd and 24th on CNN. We will be right back.